Hello. It's chapter 17, 42 times 42, and this time we are doing again one of our chapters in English to celebrate our international fan base and community. So we just traveled, it's very early in the morning, we traveled into Tarragona, into the city of Valls, one of the most traditional cities in the south of Catalonia, and we are here in the birthplace of two of the most fundamental Catalan traditions, like the castells and the calçots. Castells, those human constructions, they happen here. They started coming out from here with two of the most traditional collas castelleras. And then we have the calçots, these tasty spring onions that they get grilled during the winter time and represent not just a culinary tradition, but also a cultural gathering and an expression for the locals. We're gonna come out from here. We're gonna be doing 45 kilometers today through vineyards, through olive plantations and almond trees. There's a lot of agriculture in this town, and hopefully we're gonna enjoy a beautiful route. Come with us, and I'm sure that you're gonna like it. Okay, so this is the start of the route, and right behind me, one of the most important places here in Valls. This is La Plaza del Blat. The name comes because this was the place where the market for cereal was in this location, and this square right now has become the kilometer zero for the castells. They say that this square, there's no other square in Catalonia that has seen more castells being built and being crowned. So as you can see here, during the San Juan Diada and during the Santa Ursula that it happened a couple of days ago, that's where the celebrations. And the two collas, they are like the groups of castells. They are the two that they have a big rivalry here. That is the old colla, the colla vella, and the young colla, the colla dels joves, dels xiquets de Valls. Here it is. The city of Valls, it was founded during Iberian and Roman times, but it didn't get the importance until the medieval times, when it became a fortification in this region that was always in dispute between the different empires in the area. And this street that I'm walking down right now is where the old walls were standing. Right now there is practically nothing of the old walls that you can still see, but this city was fortificated, and it represented a vital point between Lleida, Tarragona and Barcelona. So the sun's rising up here in Tarragona, and we have the city of Valls right behind us. We're just coming out of the city and going into the region of Camp de Tarragona. Camp de Tarragona is this massive extension of land that goes from Montañas de Pradas into the sea. It's divided in three regions. Part of it is part of Tarragonés, in three comarcas. Part of it goes to Tarragonés. Part of it is the Alt Camp, where we are right now, and part of it is Baix Camp, where we were a few weeks ago. The Alt Camp, it's a comarca that is mainly centered around agriculture. The four big exploitations here, it's almond trees, olive trees, vineyards, and of course el calçot. That is a type of spring onion, a little bit longer, a little bit sweeter, that is one of the main foundations of the Catalan cuisine. With the calçots, we celebrate every year calçotadas. Calçotadas, it's a celebration, it's a gathering where all these spring onions between January and February, they get cooked, they get grilled, and they are dipped into this famous sauce called romesco, made of tomato, made of paprika, and made of almonds. You dip the spring onion, you eat it, you celebrate with your friends. Calçotadas. If you are in Catalonia one day, you need to go to one of them. Don't miss it. That's 5 kilometers now, and right behind me we got the Església de Masmolet, this beautiful church that is presiding in this small town right in the middle of the Alt Camp. We're going to see many of these today. We have very small population in these little towns in this region. Actually, the only town that it goes over 20,000 it's Valls, and the rest rarely make it over 1,000 people living in the small towns. Still some activity, especially on Sundays. There is masses and of course there is religious celebrations all through the year. As we said earlier, this area has been populated since long time ago. Since Iberian times there were small clusters of population here, especially around the high areas of the Montaña de Pradas. Then as well in Roman times, the agriculture that grew revolving the city of Tarraco, and more around the medieval times. Of course, a lot of culture, a lot of heritage, and many of the pieces that have been found in this area, you can still see them at the Museo de Valls, right in the center of the comarca's capital. Right behind me, one of the big vineyards, massive extensions of vineyards. Of course, right now, completely empty as it's been collected a couple of months ago. Now they're gonna go through the winter, and hopefully by next year we will have another massive harvest of tons and tons of grapes that they will produce the lovely Denominación de Origen Tarragona wine. It's one of the main denominaciones de origen, these regional seals of quality. And as you can see here in the outskirts of Valls, plenty of material. It's not tremendously cold today, only 15 degrees right now, so decent, but the problem is the wind. It's picking up a lot here. There's not a lot of coverage with these massive fields surrounding you. I can see the Montañas de Pradas right over there. The wind comes from the north and it's very chilly, so I'm probably gonna have to get my buff to cover my ears if I'm not gonna be sick tomorrow. It's 10 kilometers already, and right behind me, built on the same rock of this mountain, is the town of Miramar. As you can see, overlooking the whole plain of Tarragona, and actually you can see the sea from here, very far away. We're looking up at around 30 to 40 kilometers away, but here the height is around 400 meters, so you can see the Mediterranean Sea. This is the first area that it's kind of forest-like. We're gonna be crossing it. Inside those forests, the mountain lays underneath, and there is some cave formations. One of them is very famous. It's called La Cova del Gat. That is the cave of the cat. And it's called like that apparently because on the windy days, when the wind blows inside the cave, it just makes the sound similar to the cat, meowing. So we're not gonna see it inside, but apparently if you come here and you can visit, it is a very remarkable site and a very remarkable audition. 12 kilometers already, and we continue to cross vineyards and more vineyards and more vineyards. And you can see right behind me, right on that mountain range, you can see the windmills. So much wind in this area that actually there's many of the towns that decided to allow the electric companies to build these windmills, and they are producing green energy. Definitely a good use of the wind in this region, and less use that we have to do from the carbohydrate and less use that we have to do from the conventional sources of energy. In this case in particular, we are just in the outskirts of Figuerola del Camp. Less than 400 population. It's another small town, and we are now continuing straight and on the way to get to El Pla de Santa Maria. And as we reach 1/3 of today's journey, we stop in this milestone to celebrate our love of beer. As we do in every single chapter, we recommend you one international beer that you should try. And this week we are going to Ireland. We're going to taste one of the best, if not the best, Irish stout that there is. No, it's not the one that you're thinking of. That one is in Dublin. We're going to the other side of the country. We're going to Cork to talk to you about Murphy's, one beer brand established in the 19th century in the small city of Cork, and it managed to survive through the years thanks to the Murphy's Black Beer Irish Stout. It's a beautiful, creamy, with a little hint of caramel on the taste. Very, very, very nice. I recommend you to try it in a full pint. Just have one of them. And not just the beer, but actually a sign of identity for the people from Cork, a sign of distinction. And as they say there, we don't serve Guinness here, we do only Murphy's. Here we are, it's 15 kilometers now, more than 2 hours of journey, and we are arrived to El Pla de Santa Maria. And right behind me, the beautiful church of La Asunción. As you can see, fantastically restored with that beautiful, beautiful big stones of marble. Check it out. Bueno, pues ya estamos en este sendero GR175, que es básicamente lo que se conoce como la ruta del Cister. Es una ruta creada a finales de los años 80 por la Generalitat en colaboración las tres comarcas, el Alt Camp, la Conca de Barberá y el Urgell, para conectar los tres monasterios cistercienses, el de Poblet, el de las Santes Creus y el de Vallbona de las Monjas. Ya vimos Vallbona de las Monjas en uno de los capítulos, ahora vamos a ver Santes Creus y vamos a entender un poquito más sobre lo que es el Cister y sobre la importancia que tenían estos tres monasterios durante la época medieval. 20 kilómetros, y esto que tengo aquí detrás mío es un cusiol recuperado en los años 90. Un cusiol eran unas antiguas construcciones de piedra hechas por los payeses, por los agricultores de la zona, donde se utilizaban como cisternas. Son como pequeños pozos que están debajo de estos promontorios de piedra, y se acumulaba el agua aquí, sobre todo por la época del verano, donde, como ya sabéis, en esta zona es muy muy seco. Se podía obtener esa agua de estas cisternas y conseguir de esa manera de que las plantaciones siguieran produciendo durante los meses de verano. Ladies and gentlemen, 21 kilometers, under 3 hours, we made it to the Ecuador de la prueba. That is the halfway of today's episode. We are very close to make it to Santes Creus. That will be one of the highlights of today. But we use this chance that we make it to the halfway to say thank you to everyone. Thank you to you that you're watching. Keep subscribing if you haven't. Keep recommending us to the rest of your friends. Anyone that likes running, anyone that likes culture, and everyone that loves Catalonia and wants to see what is everywhere, what is around, recommend us. Subscribe. Keep following. Alright, so we made it to the monastery, and we're going to use the chance to have one of our bananas, the best recovery that there is. And as I was saying before, this monastery belongs to the Order of the Cister. That is an order that was founded in France around the 11th century, and from there expanded to different Christian territories, like for example Catalonia. And there are three locations that are connected by this route. One of them is this one, the Santes Creus. Then we have another one, that is the monastery of Poblet, not very far away from here. And then we have the last one, which is the monastery of Vallbona de las Monjas. Two of them are male reclusion centers. This one, Santes Creus, is not populated anymore. A few years ago has been emptied. And then we have as well one feminine one, that is the one in Vallbona de las Monjas. One of the many reasons why this monastery is so famous is also because there is kings buried in here. Jaume II is buried here, also like Peter IV from Catalonia. We have another two kings buried in the monastery of Poblet. They had the category of royal monastery, so that means that they, through the centuries, they hosted hundreds of events related with the monarchies of first of the Crown of Aragon and also from the Spanish monarchy. And we made it right over here to the Albereda de la Font. This is right underneath the monastery of Santes Creus. It's a very beautiful picturesque place with all these trees. It's now the autumn, the leaves are falling, and as you can see here, the spring with all the coming out water, fresh water. Beautiful place, I really recommend it. And this Albereda, this part that is built right on the side of the Gaya River, that is right over there. The Gaya River that serves as the easternmost border of the Alcam, and it's a river that, as you can see, it has some decent amount of water at this time of the year. These little forest that apparently it's filled up with fauna. I saw some signs saying that especially during the mating season, you can see Capítulo, that is like this little mammal that is similar to a small deer, and also you can see some birds, some falcons and eagles as well in this area. We're just right in this area outside of Santes Creus. This area is called Els Manantials de Santes Creus, the water springs of Santes Creus. And as you can see here, there are different areas where the water is coming out from the ground. In this case, if you can see, this water is actually not very cold. It's very temperate, and if you smell it and you taste it, the taste is a little bit like supper. It's a really, really curious type of water. That's nearly 4 hours of journey, and we made it to Murcia, this little town with this beautiful white church right over here. It's a very small town. Actually, it's joined together with Santes Creus as the same village, and it's already 27 kilometers. The legs are starting to get heavy. You can see that the 2 weeks without activity, at least without an episode, are being a bit of a burden, but we're making it. We just need to make some stops from time to time, and we carry on. So we're going through this beautiful path full of vegetation. It's going along the river Gaya, and we crossed that wooden bridge just a second ago. And this continues to be the GR 175 on the way to Vilarrodona. Vilarrodona, that is one of the towns, one of the biggest villages that we have in Alcamp, is the only other one that goes over 1,000 population. Bon dia. The rest of the villages of the town, they are barely a few hundreds, while this one is a little bit bigger. Prominently agriculture, but also some industry. And as we say that, another beautiful wooden bridge. Careful with this, only 120 kilos, so not two people at the same time. That's the Gaya River, crossing that way. So the river Gaya crosses the whole Alcamp from north to south. It starts in Santa Coloma de Queralt on the very northern end of the comarca, and it finishes in Tamariu by the beach in the Mediterranean Sea. It's quite a long river, even though that the amount of water is not extremely high. This area, known as Alberedas of Rio Gaya, it's protected mainly because the amount of different fauna that you can find in here, different animals. You can find birds, you can find mammals, you can find an autochthonous type of bat called the water bat. It's a whitish type of bat, smaller than usual, that lives in the forest areas here in the Albereda of River Gaya. So it's Sunday morning, and luckily we can get to see one of the local markets here in Vilarrodona. All the streets filled up with the shops, but you can see and buy local artisanry and as well some local food like cheeses, oil, etc. And a little bit further up on the road, you can see that they are preparing a local meal. this building right behind me, it's a Roman columbarium. Basically, it's a funerary type of building. People were buried in these columbariums. They used to be constructed close to the sea due to the ceremonies that they were happening before the burial. And this one in particular is from the 2nd century before Christ. Another of the small towns and villages from Alcam. This is Vilardida. As you can see, there's not much from the old town left, but some of the old dry stone houses still remain intact. The castle is from the back side, but it's very, very destroyed, so not a lot to see. And right now Vilardida, for example, is living of the vineyards. As you can see behind me, all the vineyards right over there, and the massive plantations of olive trees. We are at kilometers 33 and we are heading back to Valls slowly. Still 1 hour and a half approximately to go. So we're gonna suffer, we're gonna sweat, but we're gonna make it. So we are crossing the beautiful town of Brafin, a very small village, once again, just a couple hundred population. And as you can see, because there are some interesting legacies about modernism here, we have what it's called the agricultural modernism. Basically, during the end of the 19th century, beginning of the 20th, the growth of the wine industry obviously inflected a lot of money into it, and with the growing interest for making things prettier and nicer, they started to hire architects from the modernism, from the Barcelona school of modernism, and they started to design the construction of the wine cellars. We saw in a few chapters ago, we saw one in Vilaseca that was close to Tarragona. We saw today, just a little bit earlier, the one that is in Vilarrodona, but the nicest one is the one that we have in Nuyes. It's a town here in the Alcamp, and it is designed by the very prominent modernism architect César Martinez, which was born in Valls, but then he was educated in Barcelona. He was a disciple from Gaudí, and he brought a lot of the artistic current that was happening in Barcelona into this land. Also very interesting, the church of Nuestra Señora de Montserrat in Montferri. It's a little town not very far from here. That one was done by Josep Maria Jujol. That was another prominent modernist architect. And several houses that you can see in the center of Valls, especially around the Carrer de la Côte. We'll see if when we end the chapter we have the chance to see any of them. At 41 kilometers, one to go, one for completing the distance, and we made it to the beautiful town of Puigpelat. Once again, small but lovely. We're getting very close to Valls. All right, here, cruising across the olive trees. We make it to the 42.50. That is the distance of the marathon, and we do it with a beautiful time of 6 hours and 13 minutes. There are still 5 kilometers to go to Valls, but at least that's another marathon, that's another milestone, that's another 42 times 42 that it's in the pocket. So if you're interested to know how the olive tree works and how it's picked up, basically when the olives are ready, they spread some tarts around the bottom of the olive tree, and then with a big stick, long stick called a vara, they start hitting all the leaves and all the branches of the tree, so the olives start falling down. They fall on top of that tarp, and then the tarp is picked up, wrapped up, and then hopefully you can pick it up everything without missing any of the olives on the ground. Last thing before we go, we're gonna do a new thing from this chapter on. It's called Locks of Love. We're gonna be dropping one of these beautiful locks in every town that we're visiting. We're gonna try to find a nice spot to put it, and hopefully every single chapter that we do, we have a memory about love. What drives our will? Love. In this case, for my beautiful wife Una, she takes care of everything while I can be doing this. So thank you very much. I love you so much, and I encourage you to everyone, if you have the chance to pass by these places, just try to leave your love lock, and maybe we can do a nice collection together. So here he is, right at this window. This is the first of the locks. Let's go and play. Somehow we made it to the Plaza del Blat, we made it to the kilometer zero from the Castells culture. We are at the very center of Vice, and that means this is the end of this chapter. It's been 47 kilometers full of adventure. I have to say that I'm very grateful for this comarca. I have to say that has been a very nice mix of culture, nature, etc. And here I am, and here we are. That's 17 chapters already. We hope that you liked it. Continue to subscribe, continue to like the channel, continue to like the videos, and we will try to continue doing high quality content. This is the end for this week. The next one, who knows when it's coming. Thank you very much. We hope to see you soon.